Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, yeah, you can keep your comments tweeting at us about what you just heard. But now we move on and turning our attention to money matters. Well, let's talk about the new Forex policy, actually, which the CBN has put across. We're joined now by Babajide Ogunsanwo, who is our data and information analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning, Chamberlain.
But the CBN did come up with a new Forex policy. We've seen how they are going about implementing all of those. But it's about some of the impacts that has had. You've been looking into the exchange rates, how the kind of impact this is having or had in the past. What did you find?
So there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from history. And so let's look at what had happened 2.5 decades ago with the Bank of England. September 16, 1992. Popularly referred to as Black Wednesday. And that was the day that the Bank of England surrendered itself to free floating rates between the pound and the euro. So they are taking a position for free floating rates so that the Bank of England could focus on domestic price stability. The objective then was free floating rates will allow money to circulate a bit better. Coming back home, several Nigerians expect money to circulate like rainwater. But today, is money really circulating like rainwater based on our policies? No, it isn't. Rather, today, looking for money is like digging with a needle.
Is that talking about what, the Naira or foreign exchange?
It's talking about, you can't talk about the Naira without talking about the Naira compared relative to the dollar. And so let's make it more simple. It does seem that there are 3 reasons why some Nigerians are upset today. So let's quickly look at these 3 reasons. The first is called Naira at hand. The second is the inflation rates. And the third is the foreign exchange rate. So let's talk about the Naira at hand, first of all. We'll look at 3 examples. When was the 100 Naira note that we know today, when was it launched? December 1st, 1999. Today, what is the real value of the 100 Naira note? It's only 13 Naira based on inflation. Let's look at the second currency. So when you hold your 100 Naira, what you really are holding based on when it was launched isn't really 100 Naira. It is 13 Naira.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Because of the cumulative effect of inflation. Inflation between when the 100 Naira was launched, December 1st, 1999, to date. Let's look at 2 other currencies that we often use. The 500 Naira note. When was the 500 Naira note launched? The 4th of April, 2001. Again, based on the cumulative effect of inflation, when you hold today's 500 Naira note, it's an illusion because you think it's 500. But the real value of the 500 Naira note today is only 83 Naira. Now let's look at our largest currency, the 1000 Naira note. It was launched when? October 12th, 2005. October 12th, 2005. Again, what is the real value of that 1000 Naira note today relative to when it was launched? Only 320 Naira. So that's one major reason why Nigerians are upset. Now let's look at the second reason why Nigerians seem to be upset. And that is the exchange rate. That's the big topic today.
So is it not that they compare their standard of measure with the exchange rate as opposed to the first which you spoke about?
Perhaps you could say it that way. But the main concern is how much Naira do you need to now get the almighty dollar? And so they reflect and look at what had happened during the first 20 months of President Obasanjo, May 1999 to January 2001. And if we have that information from the CBN, and it clearly shows what the exchange rate at the Bureau de Change was. That is perhaps the best proxy for what we call the parallel market. And here's what the evidence from the central bank shows. It shows within the first 20 months of President Obasanjo, the exchange rate moved from 101 to 138 naira. In simple terms, this is just a 35% increase. Yes, during that time, there was some noise and agitation as well. The evidence from CBN also shows at the Bureau de Change, during the first 20 months of President Jonathan, May 2011 to January 2013, the exchange rate moved at the Bureau de Change by only 1%, 158 naira to 159 naira. Those were the rates at the Bureau de Change. Today, the CBN's evidence shows that as at May 2015, the rate at the Bureau de Change was 219 naira. As at the end of January, it was 493 naira. Here's what all of this means. It means within the first 20 months of President Obasanjo, the exchange rate moved at the Bureau de Change by 35%. First 20 months of President Obasanjo, President Goodluck, by 1%. Right now, the exchange rate in the first 20 months of President Buhari has increased by 125%.
Right. So, what happens to the transitions, both between 2001 and the last figure, 138 to 158, to 159 to 219?
So we can look at President Yar'Adua. But for consistency's sake, based on what had happened then, we do not have data to be able to reflect his first 20 months because he really didn't have the first 20 months in office. So this shows the first 20 months, what the exchange rate was at the Bureau de Change, evidence from the CBN for the 3 presidents we've had in the Fourth Republic that have stayed for 20 months. So clearly this is the second reason why it seems Nigerians are agitated. The Bureau de Change rate has been the most severe that Nigerians have seen.
But do you see this changing because it has infused, the CBN has infused up to $500 billion into the economy?